Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see here, we're at the start of another Kit Quest career mode. We were in FIFA 23, so you're playing as Genoa. So I kind of quickly go over the kit and player focus and kind of the board goals and all that good stuff. So in terms of the tactics and stuff, probably just going to use the default here, which is a 3-1-4-2. So basically like a back three, looks like with like wing backs or like midfielders. What's this? Yeah, so it's three. Whoa, okay. Interesting formation here. This is what they. So it says they're rocking here. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so it's a three. So it's three at the back, three center backs, CDM, two center mids, two left and right midfielder, and two strikers up top, which is interesting. So in terms of the player of focus, I guess it's probably just easier to go into the squad hub and look at that. So we go. There we go. Boom. It's actually not a bad like approximation of him. But yeah, so the player focus here is Radu Drăgușin. If you probably noticed there, their FGO manager is Vlad the Third. So kind of we already have done a Drăgușin kit quest. It was like one of the first ones we did. It was the like, weird Euro 2024 mode one. So, but his Vlad the Third's from like a Romanian historical figure. As like a let's do the one the Romanian player from Tottenham's Europa League winning squad. So there we go. So I also did 22-23 because it was the year Genoa got promoted back into Serie A, and because obviously Radu joined Tottenham in January 2024. So like because of how like the squad update stuff works in FIFA slash FC, it's hard to go back to a specific squad update as far as I can tell. It's not like NHL where like they have like a thing on the side with rosters, you can like click through pretty much everyone that's been released and use it. So it's hard to use them in a 23-24 season one. So we're going to do 22-23 where Genoa got promoted. So the player focus is Radu. Kiddo focus is actually the home one here, just because it's the only one I could actually find like one available on the internet anywhere. He scored most of his goals at home anyways that season. I think he scored 4 goals and 3 of them were at home, one was away. So yeah, it's a nice blue and red kit. It's a nice kit. It's Castora, which is kind of unfortunate, but is what it is. Yeah, so Radu's player focus here, so I'm gonna have to bring him in on a permanent. But I think his value is pretty low because he's like 70 overall. He's on pretty cheap wages, it looks like. But I don't know what his Juve wages are, so we're going to figure that out. But yes, he's our player focus here, so we're going to bring him in on a permanent in the window, which would be cool. And then I don't really know anything about anyone else in the squad, so I'll have to go through it and kind of weed out who's staying, who's going, and whatnot. So it should be interesting. So in terms of who's staying and going, like the kind of teams we're going to be getting players from, obviously one is Tottenham. And it's also going to be, obviously he was, as I said, he was on loan from Juve. He started out at Juve. And then he's also went on loans to Sampdoria and Salernitana in Italy. So those three Italian clubs and Spurs, plus Romanian internationals, are going to be how we're going to bolster the squad here. So that's kind of player kit of focus. Kind of last bit, I guess, kind of the transfer stuff as well. Last bit of kind of interesting was that Rasmus Højlund at Atalanta. Oof, yikes. Let's go see. Our budget's pretty low, so but let's go into. Is it not in here? Where's the board goals? Where is that? Right, like, oh, here it is, objectives. Okay, because they like change the format, like the layout every year. So let's see what they want. Youth development. They want 3 players under 20 with potential greater than the average overall rating of players currently in the same position. So that should be easier because we are, and as obviously it says that the year Genoa got promoted from Serie B to Serie A. So obviously we're in Serie B, so we're going to be looking for young, like cheaper players to kind of bolster the squad with high potential. So once we get into Serie A, we can kind of compete there. Because obviously the goal here, because Genoa haven't really won many titles in their history, unfortunately. I think they've won one Coppa Italia and like won the league like back in like the 20s or like 1910s or so. Let's go to here. I was looking at it. Yeah, the last time they won like the equivalent of Serie A today was 1923, 1924 season. So that's like almost 100 years before like the 22-23 season we're playing through here, which they did win a title then too, 1922-23. So basically 100 years after their second to last title. and they won the Coppa Italia in 1936-37 season. So they haven't won many titles. So obviously, your goal here pretty much is to win a trophy. Probably more likely the Coppa Italia than the league, but it could also potentially, if we move up the table, it could be like we could maybe do like a conference league or something. So that's kind of our goal is win a Italian Cup or maybe the conference league or something. To consider this one a success. And also, industry failure condition we're going to go with also is, what I was looking at as we started Serie B, we should get promoted, obviously, because the Genoa did get promoted, but if we end up getting relegated and kind of bouncing back and forth and stuff, having trouble, is if we are in Serie B and Radu's overall gets above a 76, because in FIFA 23, like in this the most recent squad update right here that we're using, the highest overall player in Serie B was a 76 overall player for Parma. Let's see, what's his name? Franco Vasquez, like a attacking midfielder, center forward kind of guy. He's 76 overall. So that's kind of the highest overall player in Serie B. So if Radu's overall like eclipses that, goes to like a 77, which is possible because his potential I think is 83. Yeah. So if he like eclipses that, we're in Serie B at the end of the season. I'll be forced to sell him if we don't get promoted that season. Obviously, because he's like then too good for Serie B, so that's like a potential failure condition. And then obviously if I get sacked or something, but hopefully we would win the Italian Cup or something, and that would kind of help us out. But yeah, so sign 3 players under 20 shouldn't be hard. Let's do some research. Probably some like players from Tottenham's academy, like an Alfie Devine or like I don't even know who's in FIFA 23, but like one of those players. And then potentially looking at players like play like Juve, like youngsters from Juve and stuff. We'll probably find some good players. And so sign 2 new youth academy defenders. That's easy enough. Brand exposure. Get 20 wins in the league. How many wins in the league did they get that year when they got promoted? Let's see here. They got 21 wins. So we should, because I play the matches we win. They won that year because this first season I try to make the results as close as possible. I'm going to play those 21 wins. So we should get 20 wins in the league without any problems. That's good. Financial is increased club, basically double the club worth in 3 seasons. So that shouldn't be hard if you get promoted and stuff, and selling players and whatnot. Domestic success, the Italian Cup, they want us to reach around 16, which is where they reached IRL that year, so that shouldn't be a problem. And then they want us to win the Serie B, but I don't know if we're going to win Serie B, but we should get promoted, so that should kind of satisfy the board there. Then obviously consensus success, there isn't anything because we're not in like any of the European competitions. But yeah, so this first season, as I said, we should get promoted back into Serie A and make it to the round of 16 of the Cup. And hopefully that'll be kind of a solid spring point so we get into Serie B, kind of get some better players and push really hard to win the Italian Cup one year. That'd be nice. But yeah, so I think that's kind of it for this intro. So obviously, as I said, player focus Radu Drăgușin, part of the Tottenham's Europa League winning squad. And then kit of focus is the home kit, which I'm holding up here in the back of it in the picture there. And the goal obviously is kind of repeating everything I said. Goal is to win a trophy. And then failure conditions are obviously if I get sacked, or if Radu hits a 77 overall and we're in still stuck in Serie B, we're gonna have to sell him to like a bigger club and whatnot. So yeah, that's also potentially goes for other players too. I'm gonna try and use that as like a condition to make this more interesting and realistic. Is if like players are at that kind of overall or higher. So I'm not gonna bring anyone in that this first season that overall. Probably gonna have to start bringing in mostly youngsters to fulfill that kind of board goal. And then kind of if players are above that mark, I will kind of have to sell them and then bring in replacements. And I could always potentially buy them back or something, or do like, or potentially even for players that aren't Radu, loan them out and hope we can get promoted and then kind of they'll come back and we'll be in Serie A, but we'll see. Yeah, so thank you for checking this intro video out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you check out next episode, which will be the 22-23 season recap. See, maybe we can sneak an Italian Cup and make this one season wonder. Or or potentially if we win Serie B, I don't know if I'll consider that a trophy or not. Because you do that, I think you technically get a trophy. Do you get a trophy for that? I don't know. But we'll see. But yes, thank you for checking this out. I hope you check out the next episode as well. Thank you.